You don't blooming well deserve a polish, you know. All the trouble you gave to me in my lifetime. Still, I always fall for it, don't I? Like I did last month, and every month before that. And I suppose I'll go on till I kick the bucket. Nobody else is going to do it. There you are. You'll have to make do with a quick one today. Got a visitor. Mr. Albert Mark B, the governor. That's who's coming today. Show me round the new Foundry. To think he used to be my apprentice. To Joseph Tuplow, after 50 years. 50 years listening to your claptrap and smelling your foul breath. Still, you don't smoke like you used to. You know, it was a time when you couldn't see across the valley some days. Oh, but washing day was funniest. Housewives used to come down to the Foundry and throw their dirty washing at the foreman. He used to tell them to, he used to tell them to go and wash it all again. Hated women, old Harry did. All his love went into that cupboard of his. Good job he's not alive today, though, by all accounts. What's with this newfangled electric furnace business they are talking about? There'll be no skittles left in a few years. It was only old Harry that knew whether the scrap was any good or not. Used to break bits open, he did, and look at the grain. Nice open grain made a good drop of iron, yeah. If it were tight and white, that was a load of rubbish. Used to make sash window weights out of that. Use any old scrap you like with electric. Hardly any pig. That's what they're saying down the Founders Arms. Well, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Well, how can they? How can they use everything? Old horseshoes, bicycle chains. No. It's the beer talking. That's one thing they'll never change. Beer drinking. Glad about that anyway. What are moulders, Mother dear? Moulders are a tribe, my son, who strolled from place to place in search of beer. Inducement furnace. Aye, that's what one of them's called. Now, what was that? What the heck was it? Oh, induction furnace. Aye, that's it, induction furnace. Like an electric chamber pot, Ted says. But when you tap in, it's as easy as pouring mild and bitter into a pint tankard. Well, we'll see. How do they know how hot or cold the metal is, though? Old Harry used to listen to the coke burning. He'd swear that cupola talked to him. A little bit of crackle and pop in his lug hole, and a squint through the tree, And he'd say, lovely drop of iron in there, fit enough to run knitting needles of battleships. Used to catch him out though sometimes. He'd say, hot enough, and then discover he'd got to freeze up in the tapping hole. God, what a performance. Used to have to smash another hole through the side to get the iron out. Bit of a berk on the quiet old Harry was sometimes. Come to think of it, who's ever heard of cast iron knitting needles? I never have. Never gave it a thought in them days. What else were the lads saying down the Founders Arms? Trouble is, them youngsters pull me legs so much I don't know what to believe half the time. I know they are not making the next supersonic aeroplane out of cast iron. As if I'd fall for that one. That's light alloys, isn't it? Alloys, that's right, iron alloys. They say they can make any sort of iron they want to now. A stronger steel, if you like. Add a bit of this, and a bit of that, and off you go. Hardly any metal loss either, so they say. It all sounds too easy to me. How can you tell what's in there to start with? Can't tell just by looking, can you? Perhaps it's the scrap they look at after all. Yeah, it must be. They say they can use all the machine turnings too. But I can't believe it all goes into the furnace though. No, not all the scrap. Some foundries use electric furnaces just to keep the metal hot, so they say. If that's true, I have to admit that's a good idea. Think they call it duplexing or something. Duplexing, that's it. That was a real problem we used to have, holding hot metal. Well, we couldn't do it, and that was the end of it. They even have a holding furnace specially for the job. When one of the lads told me that, I said, what's a holding furnace? And he said, for holding hot metal in, you daft old twit. If the elbow hadn't been having one of its turn, I'd have smashed him on the nose. Aye, that I would. They even pour hot metal they don't use for castings back into the melting furnaces. You know, in my day you could really get stuck with that at the end of a shift. Not enough metal to finish the job, or so much left over, you had to cast pigs all over the foundry floor. That was young Ernie's job. Best castings he ever made. Never get the hang of it, Ernie couldn't. Ram 'em hard and vent 'em well. They'll never scab and they'll never swell. Well, that's what Harry used to say. He'd never listen, young Ernie. Suppose most moulding's done by machine now. Used to use horse dung in the moulding loaf. They did. But they don't use that these days. Harry used to sling a bit in the furnace too, just for luck. Good for lamppost iron, he reckoned. Come to think of it, he used to sling a pair of old socks in too from time to time. Funny fella, old Harry. Now, when he was cremated, them as lived nearby reckoned there was nothing but pure iron oxide belching out from the crematorium chimney. It's just as if old Nick down below was having a boil up. How the heck do you melt metal with electric anyway? Well, if it does it, it does it. Suppose they know what they're doing. Hardly had electric lights when I was a boy. Never mind electric furnaces. What was the name of the other one the lads were talking about? Arc furnace. Aye, that's it. Arc furnace. I don't understand it. Different sorts of furnace. All you need is to melt metal as far as I'm concerned. Can't see why they need different sorts. All makes iron, don't they? But I suppose there's a reason for it. They've always got a reason. Even if it's only to shut me up. Oh, it's all too much for me. Too much for me.
Well. Hello, Joe. How are you? Why, you're looking well. You're going to have me retired soon. Come on, pop yourself in now. Here we go. You know, it's quite a triumph for me getting you to come and see the other foundry. You wait, you won't recognize the old place.
Aye, that's what I was afraid of. That's why I'd never come.
It's all electric melting now, Joe. And #1 foundry here will be going the same way soon.
Suppose that's electric. Won't light me pipe there, will it?
You're just bloody minded, Joe.
What's wrong with the old way, then?
Not much wrong with the old way, Joe. It's what's better with the new.
Well, you seem to be doing all right. Well, it's walnut, isn't it? What fiddle are you on?
No fiddle, Joe. It's these new electric furnaces. Cost a bit to put in, but now they're more than paying their way. We're saving all round.
Such as?
Well, metal loss for a start. That's down to next to nothing.
But you can't save much that way, surely.
Well, it's not just that. It's everything. It's the whole idea of electric melting.
Where's all the muck then?
We try to keep the place clean, Joe.
Here, what have you done with the coke yard?
We're on it.
Blooming car park. Where do you keep the coke then?
We don't use coke, Joe. Come on, I'll show you around, Foundry.
I'll tell you something else that'll surprise you. We don't use pig either.
I suppose you're going to tell me it's cleaner inside as well.
Aye, it is a bit. Cleaner in the melt, too.
What do you mean?
No contamination. You see that in the lab. Hey, up, Sam, all right?
Yes, thanks.
Aye, it only takes one man to control it.
For the furnace and the metal.
Aye, we can get the temperature to within a degree or two. composition's no problem. You'll see that in a minute. We take on all them high alloy jobs we used to turn down in your day.
I don't believe it.
Well, you come and see the one we're doing now, then. Hey, you better get one of these on your head. Ah, it suits you. Try a pair of them as well.
Two lovely black eyes. You, what's all this rubbish?
So you think that's rubbish, do you? That's swarf, Joe. Borings, turnings, all the stuff they couldn't use in your day.
Shit, I know, yeah. I don't believe it.
Hey, I'm sorry, they're waiting to do a charge.
Got a red and green for stop and start. That shows you the power in the furnace.
Here, what sort of a blooming clock is this?
Argy, you blooming clock. This shows us the weight of metal in the furnace. Look, it says way up over 8 tons. Hey, put your glasses on, let's go and watch it pour.
Hey, Joe. How you like to do a bit of tapping, eh?
Oh, I don't
Come
know.
on, let's see what you're made of. Hey, Roy. How about letting Joe have a go, eh? Go on, Joe, it's all yours. Well, now, we're right under the furnace. There's 8 tons of molten metal in there.
We didn't have that sort of goblin for cupolas. What about maintenance?
Don't need much maintenance for electric furnaces. Hey, they're starting to tip. Come on, let's go around the lab. Come on, Joe. Morning, Steve.
Good morning, sir.
Now, there's Joe Taplow. Used to be here a few years ago.
Good morning, Joe. It's a bit before my time.
Ah, well, I would be. Now, look, I want you to show him round. Make him feel at home, like. I won't be long. I've got to make a couple of phone calls. Look after him for me, Steve.
Well, Joe, this is where we do the chemical analysis of the metal produced in the mains frequency furnace. The instrument is based on the refraction of light. We take a special sample from the electric furnace, which you've probably seen. We put it in a carbon pot, and this cools the iron very rapidly, and it keeps the carbon in solution. We set the gap between the sample and the counter electrode by a simple gap setter like that. We put the electrode in, just move it up till it touches the gap setter, then we put a rubber mat on to affect the argon seal. We place the sample, tighten it up, we press the start button. The electric arc doesn't strike right away because we have to push the spark chamber out of argon. And you can see from that valve there we're at 5 degrees a minute for 10 seconds. The arc is now
Oh, there you are, Joe. I was wondering where... You ought to be wearing your helmet, you know. Don't worry about understanding all that stuff in the lab. The machine does the analysis.
Aye.
Well, Joe, that's electric iron you're looking at. What do you think?
I suppose it had to come. You got to change sometime.
Come on, I'll buy you a pint.